Okay, we're live. Hi, everybody. My name is Jane Havens. I am the owner and founder of Snooze Fest by Jane Havens and also the Center for Pediatric Sleep Management. I am here today with Natalie Fay. She is the owner and founder of Sound Sleepers, and she recently graduated from the Center for Pediatric Sleep Management. And I wanted to just bring her on here today so that she can share her experience going through the program and tell all of you what she's been up to. So Natalie, if you don't mind, just give a brief introduction.
Sure. So I found Jane's program earlier this summer, and actually one of your other graduates kind of pointed me in that direction. I was in a graduate program and it wasn't fitting right. And I know that I love working with families and children. I'm actually also a career nanny. So I was just really trying to find my right niche. And I had been working with families as a nanny and also I taught at a preschool for years, and I had kind of just been off the cuff helping people get their kids to sleep, but I had no idea that that was something that you could do professionally. So when I heard about that, it was kind of like the universe had that fall in my lap at like the perfect time because it felt so right to me, and it was just kind of like a natural extension of what I already loved to do. And then so I enrolled in August and finished in October, and then ever since I've been building my business. So
Perfect. And are you still nannying or are you now doing this full time?
So I am still nannying. I started a brand new career nanny position in June of this year with a family that I absolutely love. They had their first baby in April of last year, and they actually just told me on last Friday that they're going to have their next baby in August of this year. So I love them. I really enjoy my role, and I'm kind of right now not looking to get rid of it, but my goal is to someday make sleep consulting my main gig. But for now, I'm kind of doing both at the same time.
Yeah, and I hope it's okay that I share with everyone. Natalie doesn't have kids of her own. Natalie, but you always say that you sort of have a special thing with kids, right? Like you've been a nanny forever and you've been raising kids your
Yeah,
whole professional career, right?
for sure. And just kind of like going back to what I was saying about finding my niche is that I love working with families, like as a preschool teacher, just kind of like talking them through issues they would have. Like it just being that support person and just supporting families is something that I've loved to do. So it just feels natural to me. Even though I don't have my own children, I still have experience with a lot of children. So I think that's kind of a fresh perspective sometimes for people.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm glad I'm here talking with you today because people actually reach out to me all the time asking if they can do this work and not have kids of their own, or maybe their kids are grown. I think a lot of people think of this work as something that you do when you have small kids at home, but I actually have 3 or 4 grandmas in my program with grown kids. So I 100% think that this work is flexible. It works for people of all ages and in different stages of their life, right? I mean, I'm sure you'd agree.
Oh my gosh, definitely. And it's definitely something that you can integrate into your current role that you have. Like it's really like what you make out of it, which is what I love. Like what you want to put in is what you will get out, which is so fulfilling.
Yeah. And didn't you help the family that you're working with now? Didn't you help them get their little one to sleep recently?
Yeah, so I started when he was like a month and a half old, and then when he was 4 months old, both of his parents are surgeons, so they need like sleep, like there was I think they had a night where like he was up all night and they both had like 6 hour cases the next day, and they're like, we cannot have
Yeah.
this happen again. So we just that night they started sleep training. It was kind of perfect. I think I was literally starting your program when he was 4 months old. So
I remember that. Yeah.
yeah. So it was perfect. He was like my like practicum baby where I like kind of put the knowledge in practice, which was really cool.
Yeah. So I know that you were introduced to my program by another student that was enrolled, but when you came across this field, did you feel inclined to explore other programs and see what else was out there, or were you just like, all right, I'll go with that?
Well, I had kind of explored like before I had been recommended to your program, I was exploring different ways. I was trying to like figure out how I could do something of this, like kind of like a family consultant in my own way. So I think I actually did stumble upon like a sleep consultant certification program. I don't remember what one it was, but it seemed kind of just like, I don't know what the right word is, just kind of like cold, and like it was just hard facts, and it kind of, I didn't like get pulled in. I kind of just looked at it once and then let it pass. And then
Okay.
it wasn't until I had been recommended your program and then hopped on a call with you that I was a little bit more like sold on it, just because of the way you described it, like
Yeah.
the support. And also you were saying that you had been through it yourself and you were filling in gaps that you felt you didn't have in your own education.
Yeah, that's totally true. For the people watching that are new here, I've shared this before, but I'll share it again. The whole reason for why I created the Center for Pediatric Sleep Management is because I really felt like the course that I took was lacking. Not in curriculum. The curriculum was fine. I wouldn't say a bad thing about it, but there was no support, there was no mentorship, there was no leadership, there was no community. And that is really sort of like the secret sauce of the Center for Pediatric Sleep Management. And it's something that I feel so passionate about. And I really feel like it's the missing link for like my students to be successful. I think that women, when they try to like tackle entrepreneurship on their own, it's scary, it's lonely, it's daunting, and you just feel like, I can't do this, I'm not doing this. But when you have a whole community of people supporting you and cheering you on, it's a totally different ball game. Would you agree? I mean,
Yeah, and I think one thing for me too that's been huge with you is you recognize that the whole world of like child raising and coaching and birth is like so vast, and you bring in so many different perspectives, which I think just connects us all, for one, and two, just kind of like it inspires me. Like, for example, your group of sleep consultants inspired me to kind of, my goal someday is to also become a life coach, and I want to make a group of parents that have gone through my sleep consulting packages and then kind of provide coaching for them in their own community. So like you build community, which I think in all areas of life is huge, especially for people that are starting a business for the first time.
yeah, totally agree. And another thing I always say is that like I think our community my course and our community just keep getting better as the program, as like time goes on, because every single time I enroll somebody new, it's like, what are they going to bring to the conversation? What are they going to bring to the table? Is it somebody that is really experienced with breastfeeding? Is it somebody who has multiples? Is it somebody that has raised 10 grandchildren? Is it somebody that's an ICU nurse? Like what are they going to bring to the table that we can all learn from them and all grow? Or are they going to be amazing at TikTok, right? Like there's so many things. Are they going to be really good at blogging? Like there's so much to learn. I have a what is it called? What is it called when you're not a lawyer? You're like
Oh,
a, do
oh
you know what
gosh.
I can't remember
I
what
think
she's
I do know
called.
what you're talking
Oh,
about.
I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I won't comment.
Whatever. That's going to annoy me that I can't think of that right now. But she works in a law firm, whatever. She has a legal background and she taught us
Paralegal?
all paralegal. She's a
Yeah.
paralegal. Yeah, I have a paralegal in my program. And months ago, excuse me, she taught us all how to like trademark our business names, which actually is outlined in the course. But to have somebody like actually go over it with you and talk to you about what that looks like to go through the process is like super helpful, right?
Oh my
So
gosh. I
every
actually reached out to her myself and we had our own conversation and she personally helped me, which is like so amazing.
Yeah, so I just, I really think that that's such a big part of my program, that like every single person brings value, and it just like keeps getting better and better. Every single time I welcome somebody new in, I'm like, I want to know what it is that you're going to share with all of us.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. What would you say is like your favorite like part of the like besides the community? Was there like a part of the curriculum or something that you learned that really stuck out at you?
I think what I liked was, I guess it's twofold for me. I was in a graduate program that wasn't a good fit. And I think one reason it wasn't was because the way they were presenting the information and like deadlines was like overwhelming. So like the fact that yours is self-guided and you can integrate it into your own life to have it work for your schedule was actually really empowering for me, because I didn't feel like I had to do something by a certain date. And that kind of like takes the fun and like the inspiration out of it. So I loved that. And then two, I'm a very visual learner. So you definitely included, yes, there's a lot of text, but you took the time to include some videos of you kind of going through, for example, how to do a call with someone or a consult, or you provided also so many documents and resources for us to use. And to me, like to read about something, yeah, I can kind of grasp it, but to actually see it is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wanted to make it feel like you didn't have to figure it out on your own, right? Like
Right.
I already figured it out for myself. So you shouldn't have to figure it out again. Like I'll just tell you how to do that,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I think that must be very helpful. I hope it's helpful for you guys.
For sure.
So I know you just launched your business. You're just getting up and running. Do you have any like short-term goals, long-term goals? Like where do you see yourself in a couple months, in a year or two?
Yeah, what I'm kind of like what I had mentioned before, like the only thing I have left to do like logistically is launch my website. So I'm just waiting on a few minor details with my graphic designer and I'll do that. And then for me, it's more of like time management. Like like I said, like what you put into it is what you get out of it. So it's how much time do I have for clients right now with another job that I work 50 hours a week at. So like that's kind of like where I'm at. My goal is someday I want to have, and this is what I love about this profession, I want to have my own family someday, and I don't want to be a nanny when I'm doing that. So the goal is to transition it into this full time when that's going to work for me. So I really feel like that's my short-term goal is to just kind of keep, I have a couple clients right now and just kind of keep taking clients as I can. And then more long term would be to, when I envision transitioning out of being a nanny, just kind of really upping the ante with the business and making it more full time.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Can I ask where you found your first client?
Yeah, so actually, this client came to me. She like fell into my lap. She was just on my Facebook group. She came with my Facebook group, but actually, the second client is more of an interesting story. So I feel like
Okay.
I'd rather
Yeah.
share that
Share
more.
that one. Yeah.
I was actually talking to there's a program here. I live in Madison, Wisconsin, and the university here has a life coaching program. So I was actually talking to an advisor for that because I'm thinking of enrolling in it. And she was like, oh my God, like I was telling her how I wanted to like meld my sleep consulting with life coaching. And she's like, that's a great idea. And then she's like, I feel like the universe had you fall in my lap at the perfect time because I have a 4-month-old that won't sleep. And I was like, oh my God. So we connected and now she hired me this week and I am working with her. And it was just so perfect, like totally serendipitous.
That's amazing. And I think like the main thing to learn from that, I mean, I'm sure that you learned a big fat lesson there. And that is that like you have to talk about your business, right?
Yes.
Everybody's always so scared about like, how am I going to find clients? I'm not good at social media. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. I'm not an influencer. It doesn't matter. You just have to talk about your business, right? Like you were talking about your business to somebody
Yeah.
and they were like, I need that. And you know what? Maybe she didn't need it, but maybe her best friend needed it, or maybe her sister-in-law needed it. You never
Yeah.
know. So like every single opportunity that you have to mention your business, you should mention it. People like to hear what you're up to, right?
Yeah.
It's such a good lesson. Like that. I love that you shared that because people are always saying to me that they're so scared about finding clients. And like literally all you have to do is talk about it, right?
I wasn't even trying to like pitch, like I wasn't trying to like make a sales pitch with, I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
telling
No, you just
I
have
was
to
excited.
share. You
Yeah.
just have to share what you do. You don't have to
Yeah.
make any sort of pitch. Like
Yeah.
there, right. There is no pitch. Just like share what you do with excitement.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
even if the person who's listening doesn't need your help, like they likely know somebody that does, right?
Definitely.
And what we do, I think is pretty interesting, right? Like we like change lives, right? We
Oh my
really change.
gosh.
Like I
Yeah.
don't like to say we save lives, but we change lives. So
Yep.
people love to hear about the work that we're doing and what it looks like for us to help people. So like when you just share that you help people get their kids sleep to a better place, everybody wants to hear more, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's such a good story. I'm glad I didn't know that until just now because
Yeah.
I lit up. That's like my favorite. That's
It
my
felt
favorite
so
thing.
good. So good.
Yeah. What would you say like made you most nervous about getting started with all of this? Was it the like finding clients or was it something else?
Um, I think finding clients, I think, is just like a natural fear, but I feel like that's kind of like dwindling as I'm like what I just said, like that kind of happened. So like that's going away. I feel like that's just like a natural anxiety people have. But I think my main fear was, and I actually think I talked to you about this on a discovery call we had about your program, was I think I said something like, I'm a nanny, like I don't have my own kids. Like, do you
Oh,
think
I
that
remember what I said to you.
yeah, do you really? Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think I told you about my daughter's then preschool teacher who was a better mom than me, and she
Yes.
doesn't have kids. I was
Yes.
like, she's better with my daughter than I am.
You did.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
And
was
that
my
is
fear.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, like my daughter, she has a different teacher this year, but my daughter, and they're great too, but like my daughter's preschool teacher last year was like so better at mothering and parenting my child that I ever could be. She was like this Disney princess of a teacher, and she was just like magical and mystical. And
Yeah.
my daughter literally ate up every single thing she said and just was like mesmerized by her. And she got
Yeah.
my daughter to listen and be like, do all the things that I have a hard time doing as a mom, you know? And I
Yeah.
know that like being a teacher is different, but like that just shows like if she can do it, like you can do it, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't need to have kids to be good with kids.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like my main fear. You did a super good job at like dispelling it. And like, I feel like sometimes like someone that's not the parent has like some sort of power over kids. Like it's like they know
Totally.
kids are smart. Like, so it's not that you're not competent if you don't have your own kids. It's just a different perspective.
Yeah, totally. What would you say to somebody that's like watching this on the fence, been lurking in the Facebook group for a bit, scared?
Yeah.
Like what do you have to say to people like that? What are your
Um,
thoughts on that?
I would say like I'm definitely like a chronic overthinker myself. So like, but what helped me was like talking about like, so talking to you and then talking to other people in the group that kind of either finished the course or that were in the course. I was recommended it by one of your students.
Yeah.
So I talked to her a lot and just kind of like, yeah, for me, it was like getting out of my own head. And that was most effective when I talked to people that could give me a perspective for what I wanted my life to be. Like they say, like, surround yourself with people that you kind of want to be like and that inspire you. And that's kind of what I did. And that really helped me get out of my own head.
Yeah, I think that's awesome advice. I also think, people sometimes are scared to get on the phone with me because they think I'm going to like pressure them into buying something. Honestly, like I like to get on the phone with people that actually know them so that if you do join my program, I actually like know what you look like and I
Yeah.
know what your family is like and I know what your
Right.
background is. I like when people come into my program and when they join the Facebook group, I already feel like I know them.
Right.
That's to me, that's the best. And
Yeah.
that's why I like to get on calls with people. I also like, maybe I didn't feel this way in the beginning when I first launched my program, but now I'm starting to realize like who's a good fit and who's not for the program.
Sure.
And I want to enroll people that are a good fit, that I think are going to be good at this work, that are like, I can tell. So I think it goes both ways, right? Like someone comes onto a discovery call with me and they're interviewing me to see if they want to enroll in the Center for Pediatric Sleep Management. But I also have gotten to the point where like I'm interviewing them to make sure that they're a good fit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think it should go both ways, right? Like you want to make sure that everybody gets along and it's a good dynamic for the rest of the group because we are a little like community or a village, right? And
Yeah.
we want to make sure that everybody coming in sort of is going to meld with everybody else. Of course, like it's a very diverse community and everybody comes from different walks of life, but we all want to agree at least that like the way that we do things makes sense for children, right? And I want to make sure that people align with my parenting style or the way that I teach families to help their children, right? Because like if they don't mesh with me, then like it's not a good fit for anybody,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think your point of like getting on the phone and talking to people, whether it's me or people in the program that are already enrolled as a acting as a reference, I think is a super good suggestion.
Yeah. Definitely. It helped me
Okay,
so much.
cool. Well, as I always say, I don't like these to be super long because I like to be able to actually watch them all.
Right.
But this was awesome. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to have you leave your Instagram handle,
Sure.
get some followers. We'll make sure that people follow you after this.
Okay.
As always, we're on Zoom. We can't see what's going on. If anyone's watching, if you are watching, say hello. If not, hashtag replay for later. And Natalie, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me.
No
I'm
problem.
really glad we did.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.